Mr. Oh, I think we were starting recording now. Good evening. I'm Arturo Munoz. I'm the other early college counselor, one of the newest in the counseling team, Mr. Brody.
I'm Micah Brody, the old early college magnet counselor and one of the academic counselors at John Muir High School.
And I think we have Miss Connie online.
Yes, hello everyone. My name is Consuelo Martinez. I am the College and Career Center advisor.
Is that it on that side, Brody?
We have Ms. Diaz, so I'll
Oh,
say
Miss Diaz.
Alejandro Diaz, early college coordinator in counseling.
Count. Uh-huh. Okay. So good evening. Tonight we'll be looking at general information about financial aid. Again, if you do have questions, please do ask them on the chat. I'm not able to see them, but my colleagues will be able to, and they could stop me and ask the question for you.
Yes, I'll be in the chat for you guys.
Thank you. And we'll also be having time for questions in the end as well. We will be going through these particular topics. We'll look at what is federal student aid, what is student state aid, and scholarships and other sources for financial aid. We will be looking at 2 videos today as well that go in a little bit more detail on those particular subjects. But first, if you could go to kahoot.it.com, we're going to take a small quiz of how much you guys know about financial aid. Let me go back here. And the link, once you do go to this website, kahoot.it.com, the link number is this number on top. We'll take a couple of minutes for that.
So the pin is in the chat, you guys.
Yes. Thank you, Stephanie. I see you're on there. PJ's on.
The website is kahoot.it.it. I'll put it in the chat as well for everyone.
Thank you. It should be on the screen, right up here. Can you see my screen?
Yes, it is.
Oh, okay, thank you. I thought I went off. Okay. I think I pressed start now. So what types of aids are available to help pay for college?
So you guys, it's about speed. So what
Yeah.
is it? The triangle, grants, the diamond, loans, the circle, work studies, or square? All of the above.
All I see is diamond. I don't see words.
Oh,
Oh,
It will only show the shapes. So you just have to match the shapes to what's on the screen. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. It just like it says diamond. It doesn't say grants or
correct. Sorry, I thought it would have said on your side. But yes, so the right answer is what types of aids are available to help pay for college? It's all of the above. It's grants, scholarships, work study, and loans.
Okay.
So the next question. Oh, these are the points. Good job, Chris. On top. Next question. When is FAFSA or DREAM Act application due? Is it November 30th, March 2nd, October 1st, or April 15th? And the first one is triangle, circle. Oh, we have a mixture, but 2 people got it right for March 2nd.
Okay. So that November 30th is for your Cal State and your UC apps.
Correct.
What that
October
is. That
and
November,
October 1st would be when it starts.
yes.
So can I ask, are the words coming up because I'm getting nothing but shapes? So I
Yeah.
should be
Oh, on your phone, you'll see the shapes, and then you gotta look at the screen at the same time.
okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
No problem.
Question. How often do students have to fill out the FAFSA or DREAM Act? Triangle is every semester. Circle is each year you plan to go to college, university, or trade school. Or diamond, only once during the senior year of high school.
Hey, is the music muted?
I don't know. I don't hear music.
Don't hear music.
Oh, okay.
So 4 people got the circle, and that is correct. Each year you plan to go to college and university or trade school is when you do your FAFSA or DREAM Act.
But you do have to do it your senior year of high school.
Correct. Norma, you're going up. Next question. What is the FSA ID used for? Triangle to access award letters from schools. Diamond to electronically sign your FAFSA application. Ooh, we almost got 50-50, but 4%. Yeah, the right correct is diamond to electronically sign your FAFSA application. And we'll talk about the FSA ID in our presentation. And this FSA ID is for both a student and one parent.
Yes.
Okay. Question number 5. What does EFC stand for? Triangle, Early Free College. Circle, Educational Free Campus. Diamond, Estimated Financial Cost. Or Square, Expected Family Contribution. Five more seconds. And the answers. Make sure. So it is expected family contribution. Okay. EFC, expected family contribution. Connie's back up.
Connie, you work here.
Next question. Is your expected family contribution exactly what you have to pay out of your pocket? Yes or no? Triangle, yes. Diamond, no. Is your expected family contribution exactly what you have to pay out of your pocket? 5 is no, correct. Diamond. Next.
Norma takes the lead.
Yep. Question number 7. What equation do colleges use to determine how much financial aid a student will be awarded? The cost of attendance minus EFC equals financial need, or tuition minus FAFSA equals financial aid. The first one's the triangle, the second one's the diamond. Cost of attendance, okay. Ooh,
Okay.
2 people got correct. It is cost of attendance minus the EFC, the estimated family contribution equals financial need.
That was a trick question.
Yeah, that was a trick question.
Curveball.
And then the last question is, whose house?
Ron's house.
Dang. Should answer fast.
Thank you.
Correct. Thank you. Stang's house or the John Muir High School Early College Magnus house. Thank you for playing. And now we could continue on our presentation. Let's see. Oh, wait, we didn't see who won. And the winner is PJ,
PJ coming in
third
third.
place.
Yes.
Diana, second place. And first, Norma. Congrats, Norma. You'll be a counselor now.
Way to go, Norma.
There you go. Okay, so now we're going to back to present. So all those questions will be answered throughout the presentation. First off, we'll go an overview from FAFSA, one of this video. Please do let me know if you cannot hear. And here it goes.
If you're interested in financial aid for college or
Turn it up a little bit.
you're going to need to fill out the free application for federal student aid. Or
That's all my
FAFSA.
volume.
It takes most people about 30 minutes to complete online, and the best part, it's 100% free, and it provides you with access to grants, loans, and work-study funds from the federal government. And many colleges and states use FAFSA information to provide their own college or state financial aid. Before you fill out the FAFSA, it's a good idea to create your FSA ID, a username and password that lets you electronically sign your FAFSA and gives you access to various websites related to federal student aid. And here's an important tip. If your parent is providing information on your FAFSA, he or she will need his or her own FSA ID. Visit studentaid.gov/FSA ID for more information. Your FAFSA can be completed online at FAFSA.gov, and help is provided throughout the online application process. You will need to fill out the FAFSA each year you are in school because your financial situation may change. Plus, you may be able to automatically transfer your tax data from the IRS, making the application even quicker to fill out. Each state and college or career school sets its own deadline for the FAFSA, so it's best to get it done early. Since some of the funds are available on a first-come, first-served basis, you don't want to miss out. Now that you know about the FAFSA, you might be asking, well, how much money will I get? Your college or career school will do the math, and there's a simple formula that they use. First, the college takes your cost of attendance, which is the total amount it will cost you to go to that school. Your cost of attendance will vary from school to school. Then, the college subtracts your expected family contribution, or EFC. Your EFC is based on information provided in your FAFSA and will not change based on the school you attend. However, the EFC is not necessarily the amount of money you will have to pay. Basically, your cost of attendance minus your EFC equals your financial need. Your college uses your financial need and other information to determine how much financial aid you can receive. See? Pretty simple. If you have questions or need more information, please visit studentaid.gov.
Okay. And FAFSA stands for Free Application for Student Aid. Never fall for those reports that people saying that they could get you all this money from the FAFSA. It's a free application that you should never be charged to do.
If you're interested in
Sorry.
financial aid,
And this video explains more of the California DREAM Act. The California DREAM Act, again, is our state initiative to support our undocumented students. And this is more information on that.
The California DREAM Act application is used to apply for state and institutional financial aid by students who meet certain qualifications and cannot apply for federal financial aid. Reading and submitting the California DREAM Act application is free. The DREAM Act application opens on October 1st. The priority filing period ends March 2nd. To determine whether you should file a California DREAM Act application, visit dream.csac.ca.gov and click Start under First Time User. Students who have a Social Security number that was issued after completing the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals process, or DACA, should file the DREAM Act application. The DREAM Act application is separate from federal aid, and DACA status is not required to file. Students without a Social Security number should click No and continue. Read the AB 540 criteria carefully. First-time users will need to create a username and password. Keep your username and password in a safe and secure location. so you can always access your California Dream Act application. Be prepared to answer personal and financial questions about you and your family. Make sure you have your identification numbers, federal income tax returns for the year requested if filed, W-2 forms if applicable, and current bank statements. The California Dream Act application requests demographic information about you. If you have a Social Security number, you may enter it. If you do not have a Social Security number, but have an individual taxpayer identification number, or ITIN, you may provide that. If you have neither, you may leave the Social Security number question blank. All questions with an asterisk are required. Please note that in most cases, persons who are born male and are between the ages of 18 to 25 are required to register with the Selective Service System. Your institution may require proof of registration prior to receiving financial aid. The Selective Service System does not share your immigration status. You will need to report income information. Please make sure to note the tax year that it is asking it for. The California Dream Act application uses smart logic, so some questions may become not applicable to you depending on the answers that you select. After you complete the demographic and income information for yourself, you will have the opportunity to add schools that you want your California Dream Act application sent to. You can add up to 10 schools. These dependency questions will determine whether you will have to provide information about your parents. If you are a dependent student, the application will also request your parents' Social Security numbers. If they do not have a Social Security number or an ITIN, they can enter all zeros. Carefully input the requested information. The application will calculate an expected family contribution, or EFC. This number helps determine your financial aid. It is important that the information on the application is accurate and complete so that the financial aid office can award you the correct financial aid. Make sure to click Save every 15 minutes as you work on the application. You may notice a section highlighted in red. That means there is incomplete data. Look for a red X and make sure to answer the question. You can navigate to different sections using the tabs at the top. Your parent should click the green button to add their signature. If this is their first time using the Dream Act application, they will need to create a PIN. Enter the required information. Make sure to write down the parent PIN and your ID number. Once the parent PIN is submitted, they will be taken to this page. Make sure they read, check the box, and then submit the signature. This confirmation page has a lot of important information. It includes your California Dream Act ID number, your expected family contribution, whether there is anything missing from your application, and whether you've been selected for something called verification, which means that we may be requesting additional documents from you to confirm the accuracy of the information provided. Please read through this confirmation page carefully. You will also receive an email to the email address you provided confirming the submission of your application. Remember to renew your application for each academic year that you're in school. Contact the financial aid office if you have any questions.
Okay. So those were just some general information on both major applications that we will look over in the following slides. So again, the difference between the FAFSA and the California Dream Act and who is eligible to do either one. Again, for a FAFSA eligibility, students with a citizenship or eligible non-citizens will take on the FAFSA. The Dream Act, the California Dream Act, is for undocumented or non-resident students who meet the AB 540 requirements. And we'll look what does an AB 540 requirement mean. And these are more details of what you will need for the FAFSA and what you will need for the Dream Act. And again, these slides will be available for you to go into more detail and all the links as well.
One quick thing, the California Dream Act has a hard deadline. So you have to meet their deadline if you're going to try and do California Dream Act. You have
Per-
a little bit more wiggle room for the FAFSA.
Correct, correct. And the California Dream Act is only for California colleges. So be aware of that as well, students who are signing up for the California Dream Act. So what is financial aid and who is it for? So it's help in the form of money to pay for your education. It's available to students who go to community colleges, trade schools, career colleges, four-year universities, and so on. The federal student aid is available to U.S. citizens and eligible non-citizens. The California aid is also available for students who qualify under the AB 540 or DACA undocumented students.
That's the California Dream Act.
Correct. So who qualifies for AB 540? These are mostly the students that have attended school in California for 3 or more years. Graduation from California high school or attainment of the equivalent thereof. So a GED from a California high school. Registration as an entering student at or current enrollment at an accredited institution of higher education in California, not earlier than the fall semester or quarter of 2001-02 academic year. In the case of a person without lawful immigration status, the filing of an affidavit with the institution or higher education stating that the student has filed an application to legalize his or her immigration status, or will file an application as soon as he or she is eligible to do so. So these are for our undocumented students.
Do you guys have any questions? Because I don't want to speed past this if you guys have any questions or concerns.
Yeah, I have one question. You said about that one particular um oh, is everything for just for California, or can you go outside of
No,
California?
correct. So the FAFSA is open for all the U.S.
Okay.
And the only one that's the California Dream Act, which is only for undocumented students here. There may be other situations in other states, but for California, for undocumented, it's only the California Dream Act. The FAFSA is open for all nationwide, and it can be used in the colleges throughout the nation.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No.
And also you would only do one. So if you're born
Mhm.
legally a citizen, then you would just do FAFSA. You
Correct.
can't do both applications.
Correct.
Thank you.
And just, I don't wanna confuse anybody more, but when you do your FAFSA, if you're a U.S. citizen or an eligible non-citizen, meaning a legal resident of California, you are still eligible for state aid. So I don't want to confuse the different applications with the type of aid a student can get. Right now, we're just distinguishing the type of application a student will need to apply, a student will need to submit in order to receive aid. So I just want to make sure that we understand these are two separate applications. You file one, you don't file both, and then it depends on, well, when you file, what kind of aid you're going to receive.
Correct.
And there are other opportunities for our Dreamers or undocumented students separate from the California Dream Act. And these are just some, specifically this particular scholarship. And there's many other lists that we will be providing our students, especially Dr. Gonzalez that provides the scholarship information. There is specific lists for undocumented students that are looking into other financial aid needs. So now we're going into the types of what financial aid you will be gaining with applying through these two applications. Again, those two separate applications is either or, and you will go into what types of financial aid you will be eligible for. So how does financial aid work? So your financial aid is partly into these four categories: your family contribution, your government resources, as well as your own contributions, and college resources. All that together create your financial aid for your college education. So how much financial aid can I get? In general, it depends on your financial need. Again, we're going back to that equation that is used. Financial need is determined by expected family contribution, your EFC, and cost of attendance, COA. You will be seeing this a lot on the FAFSA website. So these are those acronyms: EFC, which is the expected family contribution, and the COA, which is the cost of attendance. The EFC comes from what you report on FAFSA, and the COA includes tuition, fees, room and board, and transportation. Some students think it's only partly on the tuition side, but no, we need to look into the fees that the college will be bringing, of course, the room and board and transportation. So that equation again is COA, the cost of attendance, minus the expected family contribution, equals your financial need. Questions on this slide? This one is a little more complex. Okay. So why do I need financial aid? So it's not only tuition, but transportation, loan fees, parking permits, personal expenses, anticipated and unanticipated expenses, tuition and fees, room and board, textbooks, and supplies. So we always expect that on the tuitions, room, board, and textbooks and supplies, but we also need to look at the other expenses that we may have when you're in college, your transportation, your loan fees, your parking permits if you're going to a college that needs your transportation, that and personal expenses. So how do I get financial aid again? There are several paths to receiving financial aid: the federal and state grants, the federal and private loans, work study, general scholarships and grants. So we'll break down into those particular different types of financial aid. What is a federal grant? So the federal major grant is the Pell Grant that you could get up to $6,495. It's Supplemental Education Opportunity Grant, the SEOG, and up to $4,000 a year, depending on when you apply your financial need, the funding at the school you're attending, and the policies of the financial aid office at your school. It is very different. And again, remember in the video, it's going to be different for every school. So once you do come to that point of deciding, you could come to your counselors or ourselves at the early college counselors and discuss how the differences and options you have for that, opportunities and financial packets that will be offered for each college. There's also the state grants. So the big state grant is the Cal Grant A. It's up to $12,570. It's based on GPA and financial need. Grant is renewable for 3 years after freshman year. The Cal Grant B is up to $1,672 for first year and an additional $7,394 for subsequent years, based on GPA and financial need. Designed for extremely needy students, the grant is renewable for 3 years after freshman year. And there's also the Cal Grant B for community colleges. That's up to $1,656. And lastly, there is the Cal Grant C, which is for trade or certificate programs at a California community college, $1,094. So you see that the state of California has a few options for our residents. And these are the Cal Grants that would be eligible for. And again, the Cal Grant eligibility will be started by doing your FAFSA, the federal application. The state gets that information. The only thing the state needs from the school side is the GPA, and we as a district have already submitted those GPAs for you. So that creates your eligibility. On your part, you just need to do the FAFSA or the California Dream Act. These are the grants that are open for both our undocumented and our citizen students.
If I could just jump in really
Yes,
quick.
yes,
So,
yes, yes.
um, for the Cal Grant A, there is a GPA. It's based on a 3.0 or higher GPA. The Cal Grant A has a higher income threshold. What that means is that your family can make a little more money as long as you have a 3.0 GPA. For the Cal Grant B, you have to have at least the 2.0. So these are for your 2.0 and higher students. So it is for students who have a lower GPA. But also the income threshold is a lot lower on the Cal Grant B and C. The other thing that I want to point out is that in order to be eligible for these Cal Grants, we as a school district, we send over your GPA. The GPA that we send is your academic GPA, non-weighted, 10th and 11th grade year. So for our families who are on here who have sophomores, freshmen, and juniors, it's really important that we stress the importance of that GPA because that's what we send to the state. For our seniors, we send the GPA at the beginning of your senior year. That already takes into account any summer school work that you did the summer prior to your senior year. So I wanted just for transparency and also for clarity, I want to make sure that you all understand that these state grants do have some GPA restrictions as well as income threshold.
Any questions on the grants? So the difference between a federal loan and a private loan. A loan is money borrowed which must be paid back. Remember, grants are.
Arturo, hold on
Oh,
one second.
yes, yes, sir.
Norma asks, do we know the income threshold? Um, I
It's
don't know off the top of my head. Ale, do you know the income threshold for the Cal Grant A? Nope. I'll look it up. I'll put it to. I'll put
yeah,
it.
it's a little different kind of every year, but yeah, I don't want to say a number and then we'll be wrong. No, yeah,
Yeah,
we
so
should
let
look
me
at.
look it up and I'll put it in the chat.
Yeah, good question though. For Cal Grant A. So grants again is something that you don't have to pay back. But on this side now, we go into loans that will be also offered in your FAFSA when you get your financial offerings. But there is also the difference between those federal loans and a private loan. So that is when you owe money again to someone. A federal loan must be paid back to the government. Its fixed rules and interest and debt forgiveness may be possible. On the private loan side, you must be paid back to private financial institutions like a bank, varying interest and variety of repayment and plans. On the federal loan side, we'll see in the next slide. And rare debt is debt forgiveness. It's rare for that side. So those are the two different loan types. On the types of loans, again, the federal loans are Perkins loans. These could be subsidized or deferrable. They must be at least half-time student, and repayment begins 9 months after the student graduates or drops below half-time status. That's what subsidized means. That again, it starts until the student stops being a full-time student or half-time student. Sorry. The Stafford loan is a subsidized and unsubsidized type. They're deferrable. It must be at least half-time student again, and the repayment begins 6 months after the student graduates or drops below half-time status. So again, the subsidized loan actually starts gaining interest until you graduate. The unsubsidized starts once you start when you use the money, if you accept the money. But these are the two federal loans that are offered in your student aid. Questions on these two loans?
Can I just jump in again? Sorry.
Yes, Miss Diaz, no problem.
So, the one thing that I want to kind of just point out is what Arturo said last. The subsidized loans, the interest does not accrue. It doesn't start accruing interest until the student graduates. Unsubsidized loan, you will start accruing interest the minute the money is dispersed. Now, for families who have higher income, you are only going to qualify for unsubsidized loans. Okay. So I just want you guys to know about this information because I just had a student who graduated here and we only qualified under unsubsidized loans. And so those are things that I feel like we need to just have more conversation about, is not only knowing the difference between what subsidized and unsubsidized means, but really what are the kind of the thresholds and the stipulations for each one. So if you're a family, middle class, higher income family, you're probably most likely going to only qualify for an unsubsidized loan. That's it. Thank you. Thank you for
No,
coming to my TED Talk.
no problem, Miss Diaz. Any questions? No?
And you guys don't have to take everything that they offer you.
Correct.
You can choose that I'm gonna take this loan and not this loan, or you could ask. You could look into private loans, which I think my man's gonna get into now. You see who gives better rates.
So your private loans, again, can be used as an alternative to federal loans or can be supplemental to any federal loans. There are several options to choosing a private loan lender. Sally Mae, Next Student, and Chase are some examples. Okay. So what is federal work study? So this is in a need-based program. It must be the student must be in full time and must be the demonstrated financial need. The federal work study is unique because you can work part-time or on or off campus. The money you earn through your work study job is not used to determine your financial need. When filing out the FAFSA, make sure to say yes to the federal work study. Always say yes. You could opt out once they offer it to you, but always put yes on the FAFSA for federal work study. Questions?
So
Oh,
really quick, go ahead,
Yes,
Brody. Go
yes.
ahead, Brody.
well, one thing I was gonna say is when they come up with your EFC is like how much you can make, it's not based on state. So one of the things that when you see, oh, you're a family of this size needs to make this amount of money, they're taking the average of all the incomes in the country and they're averaging that out to make these numbers. So, like I think one of the thresholds is a family of three making less than like $40,000 will get like full financial aid. Well, if you're not making a certain money in California, like the numbers are skewed. So don't be thrown off when you see some of these financial aid figures.
What I was going to say about federal work study is, again, yes, that last bullet says when fill out the FAFSA, make sure you put yes. It's always better to say yes, even if you don't think you're going to need it or you're going to qualify for it, because work study is one of those like first come first serve programs. The other thing is the student will have to find an on-campus job. Therefore, that money is not going to go directly to them during with their whole other financial aid. They're going to have to work for it. So they're going to get an actual paycheck, whether it's bi-monthly or monthly. They're going to get that paycheck. So it's going to be like a real job, and they're going to get a real paycheck. So Sometimes when students get federal work study, they don't think that they have to use that towards their school. And then that's when they start going on shopping sprees and buying Jordans and buying, makeup and whatnot. And so I just want to, make students and families aware that work study is money for school, is supposed to be meant for school. Um, and you're getting the money, like the student will be getting the money. So, Connie says, yep, I bought makeup. So, those are the things that we want to make sure that you're aware of, because I think sometimes students see, oh, I get all this extra money, but they really have to take into account what they have to pay for with that money. So I just wanted to say that again.
Thank
Okay,
you.
I'll be quiet now.
No, thank you. Yes. So what about grants and scholarships? So scholarships and grants do not need to be paid back. So types of awards are need-based, determined by your financial status, merit-based, which are determined by your passion, your achievements, your background, your hobby, anything. And again, these are some of the local scholarships that can be found in our website. So these are grants and scholarships. And there's plenty and enough scholarships of different types out there for every type of student.
And the good thing is at Muir, Dr. Gonzalez, she does a really good job of housing all of our local scholarships. Some scholarships are unique only to John Muir students. So I just want for our families, again, who are our middle income, higher earning families. A lot of our families in that bucket don't always want to complete the financial aid application because they're like, well, we're not going to qualify for anything. And I just want to debunk that, because a lot of the scholarships that we receive that are local scholarships, they want to know that you've submitted your financial aid application. They're not going to go based on income. They're going to go based on merit. And so they're, again, and it's also if you're a John Muir student. So Dr. Gonzalez, she's in that website link that's on here. She's always updating the newest local scholarships that we have available to John Muir students, and some are district wide, some are community wide, but there are several that are only for John Muir students.
Yeah, and she does. Kids need to be on the lookout when they make an announcement for um scholarship meetings and stuff. Nancy, Dr. G just did one, I think 2 days ago, like yesterday.
Yesterday.
Yeah. And Norma, your question is, when a student is under a one-parent household, does FAFSA ask for both parents' income? Is whoever claims the kid on their taxes 2 years back?
No, Brody.
No.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
No,
You're right. You're
it's
right.
whoever the student
Yeah,
lives with 51%
yeah,
or more of the time.
Yeah.
yeah.
So even if one parent were to claim them 1 year and another parent claims them the other year, whoever the student is physically living with is the parent that they're going to report on the FAFSA.
Questions?
There's a yep.
And
Connie
just
put the
Connie put on the
scholarship due on Friday, just so you guys know.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna put the link of the John Muir scholarships in the chat if you guys want it. So give me a second.
Thank you. So again, what about grants and scholarships? The scholarships and grants can come from federal, state, and private sponsors. Two common myths: only students with high GPAs get these awards. False: merit awards are given to students with a variety of demonstrated talents and interest. And applying for these awards is like applying for college. False: each award application will be distinctly different from the rest. So now we go into more detail of going towards the FAFSA side, the FAFSA application. As the video has stated, the first step should be that you create an FSA ID as a student and as a parent. Only one parent needs to create one FSA ID. If both parents want to do one, that's fine, but at least one parent must do one. If your parent is undocumented, or there is a possible way for you to still sign. That's a, a form that will be once you do finish the FAFSA. But if your parents are citizens, please, you must do the FSAID or residents as well. And you will be needing your personal email for this. Please, please, please do not use your PUSD email. Again, that email will be going off once you do graduate. So anything with your college or financial aid, please use your personal email. If you do not have one, please start creating a professional email for this, for particularly for your applications and your financial aid. And these are the links for the FSA ID. Students should have had our seniors should have had time already to create a FSAAD in their seminar. If you do need help, please do contact one of the counselors for any questions, or parents as well. Questions on FSAID? So step 2 on the FAFSA, you will be filling out your FAFSA opening October 1st. FAFSA can only be completed online, no more paper forms. Start by going to wfafsa.ed.gov and submit your FAFSA by March 2nd. But again, the earlier the better, because again, as Ms. Diaz was saying, that some of the programs are first come, first serve. You want to obtain the most aid as possible through the financial aid application. These are the documents that you will be needing for your FAFSA or the DREAM Act. Your parents' 2020 federal income tax, which would include the IRS 1040 or the 1040A or the 1040EZ. If not filed yet, use the 2014 tax return. Wait, that year may be wrong
No, that's
there.
a typo. That's a typo.
Yeah, it's
Just
2019.
take that out. Yeah.
2019 tax returns. Instead of 2014, it's 2019.
It's a
Oh my,
typo.
that's a long time ago, Matthias. So, and you also will need your social security number. This is for your FAFSA. Remember, for the DREAM Act, you do not need a social security card. Your permanent resident, if you're an alien registration, green card. Your driver's license, if you have one. Your parents' date of birth, and if they are legally married, divorced, separated, the month and year they were married, divorced, or separated.
So really quickly on this question, I mean, the parents' um, legal status as far as being married, divorced, or separated. So every year, as counselors, we help students fill this out, and students are always um, there's surprises that come up with these questions. Students think their parents have been married throughout their whole lives, and they've never really been married. Sometimes people get legally separated for X amount of reasons. So I just want to say this is the time to have honest conversation, because these federal grant applications and the California Dream Act applications, they are a little intrusive in nature as far as the personal information that they're asking of you. So sometimes, and sometimes parents don't really know the month and the year that they were married, but they could kind of give a guesstimate. So I just want to kind of make you aware of that these are kind of, I don't know, sometimes I know parents feel like, why do they need to know all this information? Da, 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 da. I mean, it is linking to your tax info anyways. However, sometimes again, students don't always know all of this information, and so they'll call you and be like, hey, when were you in my dad, or when were you in my mom, or whatever, when were you guys married? And then it's like, oh well, we're not. And then it's like another conversation that needs to happen. So I'm hoping that again, I just want to keep you kind of aware of these questions. They will come up, and we've had it I don't think there's been a year that this doesn't happen. So I just want to put that out there. Now is the time to start having some honest conversations about information that the kids are going to have to get their money for school.
Good. Any questions? Oh, I got something behind. Okay. So once submitted, you will receive a confirmation email, again, to that personal email. Never use your PUSD email. Make corrections if necessary to your student aid report. And just a reminder, the Cal Grant GPA verifications will be submitted electronically for all seniors in October 2021. Okay. And I do ask parents to have the students do this application, the FAFSA or the California Dream Act, because again, they will have to be doing it every year while they're in college. So for them to get used to it, but always be there to support. But it's something they should be getting used to. And I remember doing the FAFSA every year. It gets to be something normal. But I hope the student gets to learn starting this senior year, and they get used to this application. It's a serious application, but it's something that's supporting their goals and their future in college. And again, resources here. We have our you could with CalSoap. There's a sign up on here on this link. Again, you'll be getting these slides. CalSoap is a state funded program that we are part of, and they are supporting our students. Ms. Connie, when is CalSoap on campus?
So Kimberly Gomez, the mentor, she's on campus once a month. The next time she'll be on campus will actually be on our college day, October 13th, helping students with the financial aid application. And I'll be posting to the Instagram and everywhere possible and emailing students as well of their financial aid workshops that they'll be having for families. But she'll be on campus on the second Tuesday of every month, except for October. She'll be there October 13th, the Wednesday.
Thank you. And we also have our partners at College Access Plan, which are here on campus. And we, of course, have Ms. Connie in the College and Career Center. And of course, you have your counselors, your academic and early college counselors.
Arturo, there is a question.
Yes.
Mrs. Silbeiro?
Hi, yes, this is Sonia. This is Diego's mom. Quick question, and I apologize if I missed this, but is the FAFSA application based on our adjusted gross income, or is it based on the net income, or both?
So on the application, it'll ask you, I think it's the all of it. What is that? The gross?
Yeah, I think it's the gross.
It's the gross. It's the AGI, adjusted gross income.
Okay.
Yeah, but usually what'll happen is on the application, it'll link it to what was submitted to the IRS. So the numbers are automatically populated to the application.
Yeah. And every question on the FAFSA tells you like, oh, you will find this on line number 22 on the 1040, whatever form you filed.
Will we be required to upload any of the supporting documentation?
No. It sometimes there's like supplemental forms, and it'll ask on the application if a supplemental form was submitted, but you don't have to upload any documentation. It's all manually inputted, or it's transferred automatically from the IRS retrieval tool.
Okay, great. And just to clarify my own understanding, did you say the parent had to create a FAFSA and the student also creates a different one, or is it okay if the student creates one and we use the same one?
So the FSA ID, which is the identification that you will use to electronically sign, that the student has to create one, and then the parent, at least one parent, has to create it. So if it's a parent household, only one parent needs to create it. The financial aid application is only one completed per student. So the only thing that you need two of is the FSA ID. And that's so that, for example, you could sign it electronically and Diego could sign it electronically.
Okay, great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yes.
I'll also add that if you have other children, you'll use the same FSA ID for them as well. So don't lose that password if you have younger children, so you could use it in the future when they become seniors for their FAFSA.
Correct. And sometimes we do have parents that are trying to create the student's FSA ID and using their email. Again, it needs to be separate emails. So the student must use their own personal email, and the parent needs to use their own personal email. Oh, where are we going? I'm going backwards. And these are your resources. And that's any questions. Good questions all during the time.
I'll add, I'm not sure if this was covered, but for parents that are undocumented, an FSA ID isn't created because there isn't a social security number. So instead, when students have to sign, there is a physical form that is sent to FAFSA that the parent must physically sign and then send in the mail. So that's if a parent does not have a social security number, not for the student.
Thank you, honey. That's it for me. Any questions?
Yeah, we're happy to stay on and answer any questions. This concludes the presentation. Again, this was just an overview of financial aid in general. The application for the 2022-2023 school year opens up October 1st. That's right around the corner. And we're having a big push on campus to make sure we get a lot of students in before December, only because we want to make sure they're worried about everything else and enjoying the rest of their senior year. So, but again, you only complete one form. You only complete one application. It's either going to be the federal student aid application or the California Dream Act application. And depending on what type of student you are, if you're a citizen or eligible non-citizen, you would complete the FAFSA. If you're an undocumented student or considered AB 540 student, then you would go ahead and complete the California Dream Act application. But yeah, this concludes the rest of our presentation. I'm going to stop recording, and then if there's any questions, we'll be more than happy to answer the questions for you.
I have a quick question. You said something about a FAFSA ID for parents and keep it for future students. So if you had a college student 10 years ago